That's visual camouflage. This is radar camouflage. You know, so that this is like so that it doesn't. Kate came to me and proposed this idea for the exhibition. My initial reaction was, what do I do? Do I run the projectors or do I clean the glass on the... I mean, these are two giants in history. So it was a bit intimidating to be grouped with them, for sure, and kind of humbling, you know. At the same time, they're great inspirations for me as an artist. I've talked to her about them endlessly, about how important they are as artists to me. And once Kate kind of convinced me that I belonged with this, in this kind of context, it became an exciting collaboration for sure. So I chose the films, I chose how to do it, I edited I made the selections of the prints, but Kate chose my work. I grew up with television, and all the images that I saw most of my life were always behind glass. So I like the idea that you can see reflections of images, like you know, like the bullet hole will reflect the raft, or the robot will reflect in the forest, or there will be these reflections which are kind of cool. At the same time, the Eisenstein will reflect into the west wall here, or October will reflect in Mecca. So there's a dialogue that goes in the work. What I try to do with my source images, I seek images out that I want to make. And then what I try to do is I try to alter them to how I want to see them. So the idea of cliches have a very negative connotation, but I think cliches are also monuments. So if I'm trying to find an image that evokes an archetype that's almost like an ancient archetype. I'm trying to evoke images that are really primal. So I think certain images have to look certain ways. Making art is a political gesture, period. It's about the freedom of expression. And when I grew up during the age of Reagan, so I was ready for Trump in a weird way. Reagan is pre-Trump, but he's Trump. He's like the groundwork for Trump. He was the guy who said, let's make America great again, before Trump ever said it. And when I was a young artist in the 80s, I thought Reagan, I was making political work back then, and I always thought about there could come a time when someone could tell me, you can't do that anymore. But I think political art is a very dangerous thing to do, because I think a lot of it is bullshit. I think how do you make work that has a political intention to it, where you're not preaching and you're not being bombastic? You have to figure out a way how you can make something that's beautiful and seductive and interesting enough so that it enters your head and somehow gets you in a way that without preaching and lecturing you.